Greetings, beautiful friends. So as you guys see, I come to you with my eyes almost completely done, and that is because I started filming my Get Ready With Me, did my eyes, and then I was like, okay, my baby needs a diaper change. I am going to go do that, and then I'm going to come back after my eyeliner and mascara are on. And then I heard, in the middle of the diaper change, I heard like a clicking noise on my phone, and I was like, no. So it stopped my recording. Yep. And I don't know how to edit. I am not techy. There might be a way to resume from a video once it's stopped, but I don't know how to do it. So I'm just going to pick up here, and I might post 2 videos back to back in one day, just so you guys get the whole Badi. I might post one half, I might post neither half. I don't know yet. I have to see exactly where things cut off and if either or both portions make sense, but I'm back. So I do like the way the look came out. Very grungy, very smoky, very different. I went in with Midnight Sun and I used just the mattes. So I went in with the red matte and the brown matte to do my base shadow. And then for my shimmers, I went in with this green brown shimmer as well as this periwinkle shimmer. Gorgeous. I thought I saw a pan just now and I was gonna freak, but I don't think so. And we're still need to do eyeliner, we're still need to do mascara, but I lost potentially half of my footage, so that was a big old bummer. And I don't really I think it's because when my screen timed out, I think it shut the camera app, but like obviously if I have a video going, I just don't really understand why the technology wouldn't like catch that. So freaking annoying. It's a sign I probably should start editing my videos, but what happened? I'm always so paranoid when I hit palettes with my eyeliner that I took out a shadow and then I get really scared for a second. Especially because with Pat, we know these special shades. Okay, I have to eat my words for a second, you guys. I have for years and years and years, Sean and I would go to Ulta, I would touch the Pat McGrath palettes, people would rave about them, and each and every time I was like, I have tried to get myself to like it, and I just can't. So when Petalmorphosis came out, I was very skeptic, but I was very excited by the color story because for a long while, I wasn't excited by any of the new palette releases at all. They just were not exciting to me. And then Petalmorphosis came out and I was like, I love these colors, but it's Pat McGrath and I don't usually like Pat McGrath shadows. But I figured I would give it a try. I actually ordered it from Sephora on launch day rather than Pat McGrath, even though patmcgrath.com had the pretty purple packaging, which of course I would have preferred, but I was like, if I need to return it, Sephora has a better return policy. So I did that. And I was still unsure about the palette for a while. It wasn't until like months after I got it, like this summer, that I really started to enjoy it. And I enjoyed it so much that I bought 2 more. One is in the mail on its way. And I now own 3. My collection expanded by 3 Pat McGrath palettes in a year. And granted, only one of them I paid full price for. And I don't think I'm ever going to pay full price again for Pat because she has a lot of sales and a lot of people have them for sale on Mercari as well. Well, not for sale, but like, you know, they list it for sale. So they discount it on Mercari. So do I think I'm going to pay full price for Pat again? Probably not, but I must say I am starting to understand the hype. I do enjoy. Now, do I think that her price tag is a little hefty for what it is? Yeah, I do. I don't think that $100 for a eyeshadow palette, and in her case $128 for an eyeshadow palette, there is no universe in which I'm gonna think that's reasonable. Am I a sucker who pays that price for makeup? Fortunately, yes, sometimes I am. But do I think it's absolutely like batshit crazy? Yes, I do. It's not as bad. So once upon a time, I want to say it was like 2017. Do you guys remember those big Natasha Denona like 28 pan palettes? The ones that had the white packaging? So I was a sucker. And my birthday usually falls under like the VIP sale for Sephora. And I was like, well, it's my birthday. I need to treat myself. And it's kind of funny because Dion's members only live that I rewatched today actually touches on don't treat yourself because it's your birthday. Treat yourself because you're wonderful. I very much was like, oh, it's my birthday. I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to get this green brown 28 pan Natasha Denona palette. You guys, I want to say it was like $300 after taxes and stuff. It was absurd. It was absurd. And you want to know what's even more absurd about it? I was still very much a beginner in makeup when I bought this palette, right? So didn't really know how to blend. I didn't know how to match colors. I didn't know anything. All I knew is people on YouTube were saying that it's beginner friendly because it blends so well and that there's so much product in here. It's the only one you're ever going to need. You're never going to need to buy another palette again. I used this palette less than 5 times. Less than 5 times. And then you know what happened to it? It went in the garbage because then I started watching YouTube videos, and I'm not even sure. It might have been Project Panning that I started watching at this point, but somebody was like, pay attention to your expiration dates because they're important and you don't want to get eye infections, especially when it's like eye products, like blah, 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 blah. Well, now we know that you can use, I mean, especially powder products, but really I use all my makeup past its expiration. But yeah, at like the 12-month mark, that went in the garbage. And thinking about that pains me to this day because I was in college at this point. I was working at Nordstrom, hating my life. And I literally threw away, I don't even know how many hours of my life just because I was uneducated and I don't know. And it was an impulse purchase to begin with, but I didn't even get like any use out of it. Nowadays, when I impulse purchase stuff, at least it gets appreciated and loved and used. But yeah, that experience will forever haunt me. And there's a bunch of times from my childhood too. So my family's way of showing love and affection has always been through money. Money, presents, gifts. Never like quality time or anything like that. It's always been money. So I remember, and when I was in middle school, high school, my dad used to bribe me to get good grades. So if you get straight A's this semester, then you'll get $100. But really, there was no option. I don't want you guys to think there was an option. There really wasn't because I would have gotten so grounded if I didn't bring home straight A's. So it was just like, this is your job, treat it like your job kind of thing. But I remember saving up, and my middle school boyfriend, I was with him for 4 years off and on. And this guy did me dirty. This guy did me really, really dirty. As an adult, he came out and owned up to what he did, but he made me a fool. And really, I made myself a fool, but yeah, he did me real dirty. Anyway, I was so in love and so convinced we were going to be together forever that he got really into the guitar. And his family was poor, like super, super poor. And my family wasn't. So I saved up for like a whole school year, all my straight A money, went to a thrift store and spent $400. I'm 14 years old. I'm 14 years old doing this. I never told my family, and now we're no contact, so they're never going to know unless they find this video. But yeah, I did do this. At 14 years old, I walked to a thrift store, which is a few miles away from my house, knowing nothing about guitars, pick out this guitar that's like sitting on the wall and give it to my middle school boyfriend as like a present just because I loved him. It wasn't like his birthday or Christmas or anything. It was literally just you mean the world to me. I love you so much. Here you go. Like, I'm so glad that we had a few great years together. This guitar's broken. And I was like, oh, like, imagine, just put yourself being 14 years old, saving up a year's worth of work to surprise somebody. Girl, it doesn't even work. Like, I felt like a fool. But that was just like the beginning of me coming to realize truly what I would give for the people I love. It was a lot, and I truly, truly loved him. He did not truly, truly love me, and I did not. He lied to me, to everybody else, gaslighted this whole situation. I had the whole school girl telling me that there was this funky business going on, and I was like, nope, I believe him. Made me a whole clown, made me a whole fool, but it was my own damn fault, because I knew better. But as an adult, he came forward and messaged me on Facebook. It must have been like a year or two ago. So we've been out of high school for over a decade. And he was like, I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, all that stuff did happen. I'm really sorry. I need to come clean about it. But yeah, it did happen, and I should have told you the truth. And one of my biggest regrets is lying to you, but it is what it is. And, you know, a real part of me wanted to be like, I'm never going to forgive you for this. Like, you really made me a fool, and what you took from me and my life, like, I will never get back. Like, all those years, all those opportunities that I missed. But then I had to slow down and be like, he didn't do any of that. I did all that. And it wasn't entirely my fault, because, well, my dad likes to say he was involved. He wasn't involved. He likes to tell people he was such a good parent, that he did everything for me, and he was so involved in this and that. No, he was not. He was not involved at all. He was really quick to be like, oh, you better do this, you better do that. But in terms of actually guiding and explaining and just being supportive, you know, the way that kids need a parent to be, he wasn't that. So I was in such just need to feel loved that the first person who truly gave me the time of day and took the time to get to know me for me, and I was all in. I was all in. And I shouldn't have been. But again, I don't feel like it was entirely my fault. I'm using my Goldi Lucky Lotus blush. So this was my free gift with purchase. It's actually Sean's free gift with purchase. Oh, I put way too much. Oh, shit. This stuff is more pigmented than Rare Beauty. So you guys are going to see how big of a mistake that was momentarily. But this stuff, people talk about Rare Beauty. Girl, now. Goldi blushes are pigment town. Sean was going to buy me these mascaras that I really wanted from Goldi at the beginning of the year. He already planned to do it. And oh my god, this was a mistake. Especially because I have another blush picked out I wanted to go on top of this with. And they just so happened to have a deal going on at the exact same time. So it was like spend X amount and get this free blush. Anyway, the blush is a color I would have picked out like ordinarily. It's a purple blush. Holy crap-a-roo. So in this case, the gift with purchase made sense, especially because it was a purchase we were already going to make. I want to say we added one more thing to the order, but I don't remember what it was. And I was able to use Megan's code, so I got some money off. I don't know how I'm going to share this out. What I'm inclined to do is put the other blush I wanted to put on top of this. You know, actually, okay, so Dion gave us some tips that if you put powder on top of like fuck ups like this, then sometimes it'll, you know, fix itself. So I'm gonna try that. Oh my god, this is so funny. I knew it was a mistake too. As soon as I did it, I was like, oh, that's way too much. Shoot. You know, usually I like super blushy blush, but I do have another video I need to film after this where people aren't going to see the transpire, so they're not going to know why I'm looking so blushy. Oh my god, this is crazy. I'm trying to beauty blender it out a little bit more. So all in all, I'm starting to see as an adult just really the damage that having absentee parents causes. And also, my family are narcissists. So they're narcissists who fucked up in a lot of very real ways, who don't think that they fucked up in a lot of real ways. And because of that, they are unwilling to work on improving or work on changing. And I simply don't want a relationship like that. I have spent too much of my life in relationships where I was the only one working on it. I was the only one who was committed to doing whatever I needed to do to continue. And family or otherwise, I'm not willing to put myself through that ever again. So they like to play the victim though. They like to say, oh, like they did everything for me. Like, can they believe how I treat them? Like, oh, but who did this? Who did this? Because at the end of the day, I was the child. So I deserved to be protected. I deserved to be guided and respected, and they were the adults. And they seem to forget that. Except for they like to always say, like, oh, I'm your whoever. I'm your uncle, cousin, aunt, grandma. So they like to say that they're older when they think it's going to give them brownie points. But they don't like to admit they're older when it's like, okay, well, you were the one that was supposed to change and grow then. You were the one that was supposed to model behaviors so I didn't do stupid shit like this. And granted, they didn't know I did this kind of stupid shit. I did do this all behind their back, but if they fostered a healthier relationship where I could talk to them about the stupid shit before I did it, maybe they could explain to me why it was a bad idea and really put into perspective, because I didn't think about it. I was just like, okay, well, all my needs are met. I'm obviously gonna make more money because I'm a good student. Like, I don't need to pray about $400, but girl, that was a year. That was a year of my life for a boy who was playing me like a clown since literally day one. It's just all kind of crazy stuff. I don't know if I'm able to fix this, you guys. I'm very blushy today, and I think this is as good as I'm going to get it. I feel like if I try to put any more powder, I'm just going to look cakey, like a big old cakey mess. So we're gonna leave it. And it's not that bad. It's kind of bad. Why don't I take this brush? Is this brush gonna make it better? I'm gonna end up with cheeks. I'm trying to blend upwards because sometimes I just start blending and then I realize I covered my literal whole cheek in blush. But at this point, like, I don't think I could have my cheek any more covered in blush than I do. So, word to the wise, the Goldi blushes are more pigmented than Rare Beauty. So if you don't want this, then beware. Be wary, wary, ware. I left for my base face. I'm calling it base face because of you, Dion. You know I have, girl. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Oh. You know, when it's hot, setting spray just feels really nice. Like, it's totally unnecessary to spray my face that many times, but it just feels good. So sometimes I just want to sit here and like, especially the sprayers that are like really, really sprayery. Those are the best ones to do it too. But yeah, my video seems so short, but that's just because I friggin' cut it halfway through on accident. Lesson learned. If you're filming on your iPhone, you can't take any breaks, otherwise your phone's gonna be like, oh, you're done now, huh? But yeah, today has really taught me once again, and not really taught me, I can't really say taught me anymore because this is a lesson I already learned. It just like re-emphasized for me. Play with your makeup. Play. Because I could do looks with just Midnight Sun or just Wicked. But Midnight Sun and Wicked, like, they could have been created together. They go together so nicely. They're so pretty. All because I decided to play. So I'm excited. I'm excited to give new life to my old products and just to continue playing because I really enjoyed it. But thank you for spending part of your day here with me. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys very, very soon. Bye.